Welcome to the very first Disney Conversation podcast. We are the family that loves Disney, and we're ready to look at the news this week and see what's happening around Disney World. Before we start, let's go around the horn and hear from Splash, Sparkles, and T-Bone. Everybody say hello.
Hi.
Hi guys, Splash here.
Hi.
Hey guys, it's T-Bone. Woo.
Sparkles.
All right, that's the family. So we're not necessarily experts, but we have been to Disney a few times. We've done some cruises, and we've T-Bone has not been to Disneyland, but the rest of us have. So
No,
anyway,
I haven't.
He hasn't. So let's get straight to the news this afternoon. Our first story is found in Cosmopolitan magazine, but it's also been all over the internet. This past week, a woman was arrested for choking a teenager who was blocking her view of the fireworks at the Magic Kingdom. Just to give you a little background, it says that a group of kids were sitting in front of a lady whose name was Tabitha Mature. She's 41 years old. These kids were teenagers. And when the fireworks started, everybody stood up. And evidently, Miss Mature didn't appreciate that. She wanted to stay seated during the fireworks. And so the kids decided they would walk away. After Miss Mature had said that, or she had requested that they sit down. And anyway, one of the girls turned and looked at her as they walked off and said, "Well, I guess you can have our spot now." And she grabbed the young girl by the throat with both hands and began to choke her. At the end of the night, the girl talked to her mother, and they both decided to press charges, and they called the police, and Miss Mature was actually charged with felony count of child abuse. What do y'all think about this, guys? Y'all been to Disney World in the Magic Kingdom right before the fireworks, and we all know how crowded it gets. Should there have been an expectation for everyone to sit down?
No.
Well, my first question with this was, I wonder where she was at. You know, if she's right there in front of the castle, in front of Main Street, then no.
Let's say no.
Unless you have a fast pass, then there's no sitting.
Yeah.
I can't think of any place where you could sit and watch the fireworks.
Even when we did fast passes one time, we were able to sit down for a little bit, but when the fireworks started, we all had to stand up. I mean, unless you were lucky.
So many people.
Yeah, I feel like she was probably at that curb. You know, there's that curb by where the parades come through, and she found a sitting spot there. And I mean, even if those girls did move, you still couldn't see because there's just such a big crowd.
Yeah, and if she was farther back, there was no choice in sitting either. Like, you can't sit. But choking the poor kid—that's what gets me. Like, why? Everybody around you is standing. This poor girl was just trying to be nice, and she choked her. Like, good grief.
T-Bone, do you
in the article it talks about
what?
Well, in the first paragraph of this news article, it talks about how stressful it is being there all day. And I think I'm going to quote it here saying the punishing Florida sun obviously doesn't help the situation any, but I do think that was a little much, choking that girl.
I was about to say, like, we're all tired at the end of that day. That girl could have been tired too from the sun because it's hard. But you don't choke somebody over it.
Yeah, that's just a little bit crazy. Just a little bit.
So what would you have done if someone started choking you out there?
Just try
choke her back.
Just try to get someone else's attention.
I'd probably hit her and then get security. Like, she could be choking somebody else for all you know.
I definitely would take that up with Disney security, or at least a cast member.
Yeah.
Especially since it's fireworks, you know they've got to be somewhere around there. Disney cast members are everywhere anyways. Like, you don't just
Yeah.
let somebody choke you and then not tell anybody, especially if it's a young girl.
Well, evidently they took it pretty seriously for them to have arrested her, and I'm sure they called the Orlando police and to charge her with felony child abuse. That's serious charges.
It is, and she might not have been thinking straight, but you don't choke somebody. I almost say it's almost right, just because you don't just choke somebody like that. Like, man.
Well, and I think another point is when you have that many people, like the Magic Kingdom, I mean, you have to be able to maintain order at some point. So when a situation like that occurs, I think one, you want to make an example out of it, to try to help reduce a situation like that in the future, but also show other people that you're going to take their safety seriously and not allow that to happen.
Oh, yeah. If it wouldn't have made a big deal, then people would be choking each other all over the place at the fireworks. Like,
All right, I guess we all agree she shouldn't have choked the girl.
yeah, that's my spot.
All right, our second story talks about a dad who lived in the UK, and he decided that they were going to go on a Disney World trip right before Christmas, and it was going to require him to take his daughter out of school. So, like in the United States and in the UK, school attendance is compulsory, which means that kids have to go. And however, when he wasn't given permission to take the girl, took her anyway, and they missed several days of school. And when he got back, he received a summons to go to court, and it looks like he was fined about $180 for taking the girl out of class. Any thoughts about that? Should you miss school to go to Disney World?
Okay, 1, yes. 2, I've heard this story before, and I've kind of like heard little things about it. I didn't know that he wasn't given permission to take her out. I thought that he took her out and they came back and they were like, well, you can't just go. I figured he just took her out. I didn't know that the school or the district or whoever told him he could not go. So I think that changed it, knowing that he knew he couldn't go. I still say it's Disney, but
Well, here was his argument, and actually, the first court and the appeals court agreed. This case actually went all the way to the Supreme Court before it was overturned. But they had decided, and he argued, that because she had an attendance rate of 95% before the vacation, and after the days she missed, her attendance percentage went down to 90.3%. And the school, it says, generally considered 90 to 95% to be satisfactory attendance. So he argued that she still met what they considered to be satisfactory, and therefore he did nothing wrong. The first court agreed, the second court agreed, but the Supreme Court disagreed. And does that make a difference to you?
I think that does. I mean, if she was okay, they told him no, which kind of changed it, but at the same time, like you said, because the school says what she did was okay, I don't see the difference in what they're trying to do. But it does say, like, I think that also kind of says something. It said, I think the father said, you're not the final arbiter of what's right for your child, which is true. I mean, that was his choice. That was his kid. And she was still fine. I mean,
Yeah, I think that as long as it was considered to be acceptable, I don't think he should have been fined for that, even if the school said that it would be fine as long as it was still within 90%.
In the article, it talks about part of the school's defense was that it created, in a sense, of unnecessary hardship on the girls' teachers having to deal with makeup work. And I don't know that was a very good argument, but
it's not. Because
I have to agree with the dad. I think that this girl doesn't have a history of missing school. It probably has decent grades. And so if that's the only time he could take her on vacation and it wasn't going to hurt her education necessarily, I don't think a school has the ability to tell him that he can't do it.
Well, Britain's education department said that they believed that missing any school was detrimental to the student. Do y'all think that when you miss school, do you miss out?
with one of my classes, maybe. But I guess going back to what Austin was saying about the makeup work, she could have been sick. I mean, and if she was sick and teachers had to give her makeup work, I feel like it would have been different. I mean, I don't know. You don't miss out too much, and that's the teacher's job.
Well, and I think this whole situation would be different had the dad not asked for permission first. And then, of course, this would not be very ethical, but if he had said she was sick or something and was the reason she missed those days, I feel like the school would not have been as harsh with the punishment.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that. I mean,
so where do you draw? I mean, it's okay for one instance, but not the other, even though it's the same kind of end result in a way.
Britain's education department said that it was very pleased with the decision by the Supreme Court because they believed that the school should decide what circumstance would allow for a child to be absent. And so that's why they took it to the Supreme Court. That's a tough case, though. If you guys had the chance to go on a Disney World vacation and we're going to miss a couple of days of school, would you be upset if the school said you couldn't go?
Yes. One, because if we've been planning that for a while, I think it is a case of you, the parent, you have more right and say how you're going to raise your child and what you're going to do with your child than the school is. Especially saying as y'all can choose this school you send us to. Y'all can send us to another school. Well, I mean, and that's girl. I mean, she had good attendance, so that if something were to happen and she would have left that school, they would have lost a good student anyways. I don't know. I'd take Disney over school any day.
Okay, well, let's go around the horn. How many of you agree with the decision by the Supreme Court? Do you think that them missing school, even though it didn't drop her below the 90% for the semester, do you think that was the right call by the Supreme Court or a wrong call? What do y'all think?
I'm going to say that this is the wrong call. I think this kind of a situation has to be decided on a case-by-case basis. I mean, you're going to have to look at the student individually to make this decision. But I think with someone like this who doesn't regularly miss school and still was able to stay above what the school considered satisfactory attendance, I don't think she should be punished.
I second that.
Yeah.
I mean, she's still completely fine even after missing a few days of school. And if, like I said, even if she was sick or something, it would have been okay. Yeah, I agree. She was not.
I also think that was the wrong call. That they should, since she did attend school regularly, I think that it should have been allowed for her to miss that as long as it falls within satisfactory.
What do you think?
Well, at the end of the day, if they have a policy where they could have made up the work before they went, I think that would be good. But he was only fined $180. I say just count that as part of the expense of the vacation and go on about your business.
Well put.
Yeah.
All right. Our next story involves Disney. You have to laugh at Mom walking through the picture there, don't you?
Love you.
Disney's top 10 Disney World counter service restaurants, top 10. This is by the Disney Tourist blog. And Mr. Tom Bricker has listed his top 10. We've been to a lot of these restaurants. I thought we'd look at the list and see if we agree or disagree with him.
Yeah.
for number 10 on the list, he's got Mara at the Disney Animal Kingdom Lodge, and that's a place where we've been. Do y'all remember going to Animal Kingdom Lodge and having supper out there at the Mara?
I do.
I think so.
That was nice. Definitely an experience.
So that was number 10. And anything out at Animal Kingdom is pretty good. I think.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that was our first time going to the resort, wasn't it? First time
Yeah.
seeing the inside.
Yeah.
Sure was.
Number 9 for him was Deluxe Burger, which is a new place at Disney Springs, and we've not been there.
Nope.
Number 8 was Landscape of Flavors, which is at the Disney's Art of Animation Resort. We've not been there
I've
either.
been there, but I bet it's good.
Number 7 was
Polynesian.
Captain Cook's at the Polynesian.
Yeah.
And I remember that place very well, and I thought it was very good.
Yeah.
yeah.
It was really good.
Is that where we sat up?
We got to eat outside by the pool for that one.
Yeah.
So
That
would
was-
y'all say Captain Cook's was better than the Mara?
I would
My
say
one
yes.
complaint about Captain Cook's was it's not food related, but the seating there was a little limited. I don't know if you remember, but we had to go eat by the bar. And
Yeah.
they actually made you purchase a beverage, Dad, for us to be able to sit there because all of the
Yeah.
seating for Captain Cook's was filled.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's true, but that was fine with me because I really liked their outside seating area. It was really nice.
It was really
It was
good.
beautiful.
They need
That's
more
true.
seating. That way people who let's say we wanted to take a trip when we got older, but we didn't exactly want to buy a drink. I'd want to be able to sit out there and enjoy that without having to, I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
y'all were too young for that. But I tell you, number 6 is going to surprise you. Be Our Guest Restaurant was ranked number 6 out of the 10.
Wow.
I really thought it'd be higher than that because every single time we went, it was so good. And it wasn't normal, it wasn't like normal, I don't even know, counter service restaurants. I mean, it was special and everything, or not even the food was fantastic, and then the environment itself was amazing. Might be a little biased, but I thought it'd be higher than this.
Y'all remember?
I don't know that I would list it as my number 1, but I would say Be Our Guest should definitely be in my top 3.
I'll say higher than the 6.
Yeah. Because
I
just
think-
the atmosphere of it.
I don't know if y'all remember, but when we went on spring break a year ago, we got to eat at Be Our Guest twice for lunch for their counter service.
Yeah, we
Yes.
And that was good. It was all in that same spring break week, and it was a little easier to get reservations. But when we went this past Christmas, all we could get was a breakfast
did. Yeah.
reservation, and we didn't.
Breakfast was still good.
It was, and in the article they kind of downplayed the breakfast there, but I thought it was good.
I'm reading
Yeah.
it. That's true. It does have long lines, but I feel like with a restaurant like Be Your Guest, you need to expect lines and be able to order ahead like we did. But I don't know. I thought
It was. I mean, it was a quick service breakfast. It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't anything extravagant, but I thought the food was very good.
Okay,
Very good coffee, so that was good.
So interesting that it's number 6, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
They're also saying in the article they're saying it's the best place in Magic Kingdom to go. I feel like that there's some good places in Magic Kingdom. I figured it'd be higher than this if they're thinking it's the best.
Well, let's see what's to come here. Number 5 was the Tangerine Cafe at Epcot. I don't believe we've ever been there.
I don't think so, but I think
It's
I know where
on
that is.
Number 4, we've been to the Flame Tree Barbecue over at Animal Kingdom. Do y'all remember the barbecue place we ate at spring break a year ago?
Yes.
I think I do.
do.
Very good ribs there.
I remember Austin ate a ton of food and was sick for about the next 3 hours.
Yes, he
afterwards.
was.
Yeah,
Yes, I remember that.
that was rough. It was worth it. The food was delicious, but that is the restaurant that all of the seating is outside, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's a few
We
tables
were
that are
walking
covered,
down
but it's
the little
all
random
open
path.
air.
Yeah. We got good seats.
We actually had a duck there with us the time
Yeah.
we ate there.
Yeah. That was
Yes,
so good.
I remember that. Okay, number 3 is one of our favorite places too. Sunshine Seasons over there by Soren.
Oh yeah.
That place is good.
I like the variety that they offer.
Yeah.
A little bit more than some other quick service
There's a lot of different
places.
choices there.
Okay. Most places with quick service mainly have one, if not theme, they have the main things that you gotta have. But this place did have everything, and it had good seating. You'd think for where it was, I didn't think it was gonna have good seating. But good grief, it was huge down there. It was good.
Now, I don't know about y'all, but I think I would put Be Our Guest up here equal with Sunshine Seasons.
Yeah.
Or maybe even ahead of it, which would put it in the top 2.
Yeah.
I'm
I'd
a little
definitely put it
surprised.
over. Sorry. I'd put it above Flame Tree Barbecue. I mean, that was great, but
I would too. What about you, T-Bone? Would you put Be Our Guest in front of Flame Tree?
I would, just because of how good the food was, and like I said a little earlier, like the atmosphere of all of it. I really enjoyed it, so I probably would.
What do y'all think's number 2?
It's cheating because I'm looking at it, but
Well, I'll just tell you, number 2 we've been to and we liked it. It was the Gasparilla Island Grill over at the Grand Floridian.
really.
yeah.
Actually, I mean, I can see it. Yeah.
I don't think I would put it as number 2.
How about the
I
same?
liked it,
No. Yeah.
but it wasn't number 2.
Yeah. Like
Of course, that's another open air seating area. We ate out by the marina there at the Floridian, which was really nice. It was a beautiful place.
I'll say it's really pretty.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I feel like Be Our Guest would probably top that for me. I don't know.
Number 1 was the Contempo Cafe there at the Contemporary Resort, and we ate there a couple of times, and that's an interesting place. And I remember the food was really good. The desserts were really good there.
Famous for its cupcakes.
Mm-hmm.
They were out of this world. I thought it was good. Do what?
No outside seating at the Contemporary, and it's kind of neat to see the monorails come by while you're eating.
That was
that was really neat.
I thought it was good. I would not. I don't think I personally would put it in my top 3 though.
Yeah. Like you said, the cupcakes were fantastic. But no.
Okay, here's my top 3. I think I would go Be Our Guest number 1. I think number 2 for me would probably be the restaurant over at the Polynesian. What was it called?
Now I have to look again.
Captain Cook's.
Yeah, Captain Cook's. So I'm thinking Be Our Guest, Captain Cook's, and then probably the Contempo for me. That would be my top 3.
Can I go off of this list just a little bit?
Sure.
I think they missed a really good one when they did not put Harbor House on this list in the Magic Kingdom.
The harbor.
Harbor House would definitely be in my top 5, and it didn't even make the list.
That's what I'm saying.
It didn't, and I think they're missing a good one.
Because it's overlooked. It really is. There's tons of seating there, and it's great food, but nobody really ever goes. Yeah. What would y'all's top 3 be?
Probably
You go ahead, Tyler.
Probably mine would be the same as Dad's.
I think I would have to put I'm going to have to go with Harbor House as my number one. It doesn't have all of the other amenities that Be Our Guest has, but I just really like their food. So Harbor House would be my number one, and then Be Our Guest would come in at number two, and I think my number three would be Sunshine Seasons.
Let's see.
Allison.
Oh no, okay. So probably Be Our Guest would be number one for me too. Second would have to be Harbor House. I love that place so much. And then third, I gotta go with the Mara. Just because I'm choosing from what I remember best, and I don't know why, but I really remember the Mara. Like, I don't know, it was good. That'd be my three.
All right. And Tyler, you're going with me, huh?
Yeah, I think that was a pretty good list.
All right. Now that I'm good and hungry, let's go to the next story. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Fortune magazine, and I also saw this all over the internet. Fortune magazine reported this week that Disney has patent for a child-friendly soft robot. In other words, you know how the characters are there for the kids to run up and hug and see. They're going to make a robot with some type of soft skin that would be there for the kids to come hug. What do y'all think about that? Should we do the robots, or are you like me? And I'm thinking the characters go back old school. What do y'all think?
I have to agree. I think that by using robots, it takes out. I think personally it would get rid of the realness. So like when you see Mickey and he waves at you and runs up and you hug him, I mean you wouldn't have that.
Yeah.
I think you'd have a bunch of pictures of Mickey with his eyes closed, like what we have had happen.
Let's fix my kids' eyes. Yeah. No,
What do
I
you
agree
think,
with that too. I think it takes out the humane part of it all, just because I feel like that's one of like the best parts as a kid is to see your favorite characters that you've always like watched on screen and seen and heard of. You can go up there and talk to them. I gotta kind of talk to them. You can just be with them and hug them, like Austin said. But it takes out all like the real humane parts. Plus, I feel like as a child, if you knew the thing that you're running up and hugging is a robot, that just might scar you.
What if it's a bad robot and it starts beating the kids?
That's what I'm saying. Okay, Tyler, you know what I'm talking about. Five Nights at Freddy's. They've already made a video game about
Allie.
robots turning bad. I'm not okay with this.
Okay. Well, guys, the last story I think we're going to talk about today is that the Disneyland park is going to close the Disney Electrical Parade on August 20th, which is an extension over when it was going to close.
Mm-hmm.
But we've all seen the Electrical Parade many times. Are you going to miss it?
I will, just because you know what it is. You just kind of hear the name and you know, oh yeah. So, and now that, what were you gonna say?
No, finish your thought, Tyler.
Oh, that was it.
I think for me personally, I enjoyed watching it. You know, we've seen it a few times. But for me, it wasn't my most favorite parade. There's others that I would see again before I would see that one. So it's been around a long time, but I do think it's time for them to revamp and come up with something even more spectacular.
I agree with that, but I think they shouldn't cut out the idea of an electrical parade entirely, just because I love their parades, and like Austin said, it does need to be revamped. But the electrical parade, I think just something about it being at night and all the lights shut off, and it's like these huge, just lit up, really cool things. I don't know. I feel like that's something really unique that it's hard to replace, and so I think it does need to be replaced. But if they were to revamp it, I think they should come back with another electrical parade like that, because that's just something. I mean, it's unique. I don't know. Anybody else?
Tyler, what do you think?
Like I said, I think a lot of people are gonna miss it just because, like I said, you hear like the electrical parade and you know what it is. You know that it's just a big lights extravaganza. So I think a lot of people are gonna miss it. I think they could make another better revamped one, but I mean, people are still gonna miss the original.
Guys, I think that's true. But yeah, it's exciting to know that something new is going to be coming.
Yeah.
Well, guys, congratulations. This is the first time we've ever done anything like this. I think you did a good job. I hope everybody signs up to do it again. We're going to double your contract and pay you twice as much the next time. So look forward to that. Any closing thoughts?
When do we get to go back?
I'm graduating in a few years.
Are you sure we can wait a few years, Allie?
No.
Well, guys, like you know, we're always planning that next trip, so hopefully it won't be long. We're shooting for Christmas this year, so anyway, we'll see if that works out. I tell you, it's kind of funny that we're talking about that because your school year right now goes almost right up to Christmas. So if you have to miss school, we'll have to go through what that.
I will. I told you. Disney's better.
Disney's better.
Like you said, Dad, just charge it as a vacation expense and go on. So,
all right, guys. Well, hey, good job. And as always, right here with the Disney Conversation, we'll get together again next week and have us another wonderful, magical Disney Conversation. Bye, guys.
Bye.
bye.